because why is this happening? All of a sudden I felt like a demonic presence in the room. The cross slowly turns upside down. So I actually wanted to film a mini updated skincare routine. I also wanted to kind of talk about a creepy dream that I had last night. It was kind of creepy and I just want to like share it. So before we get into any of that, I kind of want to share with you guys my Dollar Tree skincare routine. And this is something I've been using the past, like, I would say like the past month. I've been using this Skin Nutrition Botanicals Tea Tree Oil Face Wash. And this I got at Dollar Tree, and I've actually been really liking this. I feel like it helps with the redness in my cheeks and also my super dry skin. And this has tea tree oil, salicylic acid, it has AHA and BHA, and hyaluronic acid. And it's supposed to exfoliate your skin. It's supposed to smooth out any bumps and unclog your pores. And it's supposed to minimize fine lines and wrinkles and then leave your skin tone with a dewy finish. I'm not too sure about that dewy finish, but I do feel like it kind of helps with the dryness. I feel like the reason why I have redness in the cheeks, it could potentially just be that my skin is just dry. Yeah, this is good for oil control and a really good pore cleanser. So the scent is actually kind of potent with tea tree oil, but it doesn't smell too bad. And I feel like it's been like cutting down on the amount of pimples I have. Like, I feel like especially around this section here, I tend to be like breaking out more. So a little bit about the dream. So I was having like a severe migraine attack last night. And it could have been due to the fact that I haven't really been drinking as much water and I didn't really eat much yesterday. But I basically fell asleep around 8 o'clock. And I was super exhausted, had a migraine. I just wasn't really feeling that great. And prior to that, I had been cleaning my bathroom while listening to one of my all-time favorite podcasts called Real Ghost Stories Online on Patreon. And Real Ghost Stories Online is basically a podcast by Tony Bruschi, and he will have people call in with ghost stories, or he'll talk about creepy ghost stories that people email to him. And I actually pretty much listen to that like every day. I listen to it whenever I'm cleaning. I will listen to it whenever I am just like doing, like boring tasks basically. Sometimes I'll listen to music. Most times I'll listen to the podcast. I'm going to be using my CeraVe Hydrating Foaming Oil Cleanser. And this I use every single day. This one I use every other day. And I feel like these are a pretty good balance, and I feel like it has been helping my skin out a lot recently. Okay, so back to it. I had fallen asleep and I think I was watching like YouTube videos or something. I had stopped listening to that podcast because whenever I'm like by myself at home and I'm listening to that podcast, I will freak out. Like, I don't know what it is, but I will freak myself out. So I try not to listen to that podcast when I'm, by myself. So during the dream, me and my husband were kind of doing normal, regular things that we do in real life, like cooking dinner or hanging out. Well, in the dream, we were in another room, like a bedroom or something, and for some reason our walls were painted a baby pink color. In real life, the walls are actually white. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but in the dream, the walls were like a baby pink color, and I had a little hook on the wall with a rosemary, or a rose with a not rosemary, a rosary. And a little bit of a backstory. So growing up, I was kind of raised Christian and Catholic. I have a Christian side of my family, and then I have a Mexican Catholic side of my family. Obviously that makes me Hispanic, but I kind of grew up with both like religions. And every night my grandma, my nana, would have me recite the rosary. And you know, you have to put your hand on each bead and say a prayer. And she had me do it every night, so that pink rosary is kind of forever ingrained in my brain. Like, I just remember what it looked like. I remember what the beads look like. And basically, in the dream, I had that hanging on the wall. I guess it was like a memory wall with my papa in the dream. He actually passed away in 2010, I think. But in the dream, I had some of his stuff hanging on my wall. And when I went in the bedroom, I was cleaning and I heard something fall on the floor. And I look, and it was the rosary on the floor. And I was like, what the heck? Like, it fell by itself, you know? And like, this dream was so realistic. Like, I feel like it happened in real life, to the point where I had to ask my husband if it did happen. Like, it was like super realistic, right? Putting the rosemary back on the wall, and then I turned to do something else. And then, oh my God, I keep saying rosemary. Rosary. So I ended up putting it back on the wall, and 5 minutes later, I heard another sound. I turn around, the rosary is on the ground again. So then I put it back on the wall, and I just kind of look at it thinking, why would this fall if it's on a hook? Like, I was just really confused by it. And all of a sudden, it was as if an invisible force grabbed the rosary and flung it off of the wall, like in an angry way, or like forceful way. And it threw it on the ground. And when I saw that in the dream, I was like, oh my God, like, what the hell? So I called my husband over, and I'm like, Trevor, something, like, we have like a demon or like something crazy going on in here, because why is this happening? And anytime we put it back on the wall, it would get thrown with an invisible force. And then all of a sudden, I felt like a demonic presence in the room. It was like really creepy. My alarm ended up going off, and then I kind of woke up in a sweat. I mean, I still had a migraine. I didn't take any painkillers for it, but I was still feeling like a little bit sick from the migraine, but I started feeling really freaked out. And the sun had gone down, obviously, at that point, so the room was pitch dark, and I was like super freaked out last night. And I mean, I was like by myself last night, so, because my husband was working. And yeah, like, I was just freaked out for the entire night. Like, I basically like was kind of like flinchy. I was just kind of like creeped out, and I went somewhere last night, and as I was getting in the car, I was like kind of like flinchy, like, you know that feeling you get when everything's freaking you out, like you think you see a shadow but it's not there. It's probably something in the corner of your eye. That kept happening, and I don't know, it was just like really creepy. And I'm pretty sure, you know, I don't have nightmares like that all the time, but that one was kind of odd. The whole dream, I don't know if like it was like a symbolism for anything, but my family from my grandmother's side, they all kind of messed with the Ouija board for many years. I don't know if it's due to that, but I remember the dream thinking there's something wrong with my grandfather. Not that he's like possessed, but like maybe I don't know what it is. Like I kept thinking like something about my grandfather and demons or something, and I'm not really sure if that means anything. When I was thinking about my papa in the dream, something with demonic, or like, I don't even know how to explain. Like I was having like visions in the dream, and like upon waking up I had like this like clear picture in my head, and this is the freakiest part. I had a vision of the pink wall and a cross on the wall, and this cross is like made from Mexico specifically, and the cross slowly turns upside down. And I remember thinking like, I remember experiencing like a lot of anxiety upon waking up and like envisioning that. I don't know if that happens to everyone, like whenever you dream and then you wake up and you're still, I guess, like thinking, or maybe you're in a dreamlike state or something, but you have like an image of a person or have like an image come to you. And yeah, like I just felt like including that because that one, like that is the part that actually really freaked me out, because that's like, I don't even know what that means but it just, yeah, it was just weird. That's just like pure like demonic, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's just a collection of like my past and my loved ones or something, or like if it's like a symbolization of something. So like one thing about me is I actually do believe that certain dreams they are a symbolism. I've heard of that. I love listening to like, you know, stuff like that. Like astral projection. I don't know, like that. I've never had a dream like that was so specific. And when I was driving my husband to work today, I was telling him the story, and then all of a sudden something clicked in my head. I noticed that like the rosemary was like a baby pink color, and then also in the dream the walls were like a baby pink. Kind of like back in the 80s or 90s, you know how grandparents had like that Pepto-Bismol pink like bathroom or something like that? Well, they had, my Nana and Papa had a playroom. I think it was a pink color, and that was just a playroom where all the kids would have their toys. Like my mom kept her toys in there, and then eventually me and my brother kept our toys in there. And I think, my memory is kind of, like I haven't been in that house in like so many years, so it could be a little bit off, but I just remember that maybe the playroom was a pink color or something, or like a bathroom in that house. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's like a little mini like creepy dream story time. I actually have been experiencing like super vivid dreams, for years, ever since I was like 6 years old. My dreams always play out like movies, and they're always like crazy, and it always feels like super realistic. And then sometimes I'll have a dream and I just won't remember it at all. Or sometimes it's like super cheesy, like a demonic Easter rabbit chasing me. And it was very movie-like, and honestly, I haven't really watched any horror movies the past 6 months because our TV stopped working. I I mean, I've started listening to the Patreon podcasts a lot this week, so I don't know if it's due to that. So now that everything's washed, I'm going to be heading over to my beauty room. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have a super exciting makeup series that I want to do on my channel, and I'm going to talk about it while I mix some more foundation. I had to throw out that little plastic container because it completely fell apart. So I'm just kind of using this old like glass container that I kept from a moisturizer. Whenever I get really nice glass containers, I like to just keep them around so I can just put little things in here. Sometimes I'll put hair ties or bobby pins. And we're going to be talking about the exciting project pan series that I'm going to have on my channel. So I'm just taking both of my CoverGirl foundation shades, and these ones I got on clearance. I talked about doing this a couple of times on my channel. I like to mix my own foundations, and I kind of like used all the older foundations that I have in my stash, colors that didn't really work out on my skin tone, and I just kind of mix them together. And I will do a pump of face lotion to kind of dilute it, and it kind of acts as like an overall little like BB cream or something. And these are just one of the things that I do to save money. Whenever Walmart has sale on their makeup, I like to purchase the ones that I can find as close to my skin tone as possible. Just because, you know, foundation can get expensive, especially if you like wear makeup every day like I do. So on my channel, I actually made my very first project use it up video, and I'll put the picture of it on my screen so you know what I'm talking about. I was trying to come up with ways to something more like interesting, something more like exciting, something that I can look forward to. And I didn't want to make videos on my channel just using those same 10 products. I wanted to do a series that involves me using my older products in my project pan, as well as my new products that I'm bringing in, just to kind of like spice things up a little bit. So I thought, you know what? Why don't I do something interesting? So we were cleaning out the office the other day, and it came across my husband's Pokemon cards, and he kind of had them in a little box. And when I saw them, I thought, you know what if I used my project pan for a little makeup series? Now on YouTube, I do see people doing project pans with like little fun games attached to it. There's a couple of them, and I'm also going to be participating in a few of them coming up. In this bucket here, I have all of the Pokemon cards. I didn't want to make anything too repetitive on my YouTube channel, especially if I'm doing a project pan. I feel like I tend to like get bored if they take a while to use up. So I figure, you know what? Why don't I make something interesting and kind of make it fun for me and for you guys? So in this little container here, I actually pre-shuffled all of these Pokemon cards. I don't know, this is my first time creating something like this, so I hope it's like easy to understand for you guys, because I wanted to make it something that other people can follow along with me if they do own Pokemon cards. Like my husband, he actually collects Pokemon cards. It's his hobby, and I used to like Pokemon when I was a kid and I had my own collection, but I don't have those cards anymore, so I'm just using his. And basically each week I'm going to be taking the first card in the pile, and I'm going to be recreating a look based on the character in the card. So to demonstrate, I'm going to go ahead and pick a card. So the first one I have is...
From the looks of the little dance it's doing, it's a pretty happy one too.
Yeah. Totodile, the big jaw Pokemon. Its highly developed jaw is so powerful, it can crush practically anything. Trainers beware, this Pokemon loves to use its teeth.
So the first card in the week is this character right here. It is Totodile, and it looks like a little character, a little dinosaur character. And I'm not really too familiar with Pokemon, at least like the newer ones. Like, I only know like the top 5 main characters, like Pikachu and Squirtle. But I hope I say the names correctly. So this one, it looks like his colors are pink, blue, white, and beige. So we're gonna do a makeup look inspired by these colors here. And I'm just kind of mixing my foundation. I'm actually using my concealer brush because I can't find my little beauty spatulas anywhere. I think there's about 200 or possibly 300 cards in that little container. Maybe not 300, but I think it's 200. So I don't know how long this is gonna take me if I'm doing 1 card a week. If I don't have any content for the week, I'll probably end up doing 2 videos a week, but I'm not too sure. I do have upcoming project pans that I would like to participate in coming up, which I'm super excited for. I'm actually going to be filming them like tomorrow, I think. So before I put on my makeup, I like to start off with some hand sanitizer and lotion, and the one I'm using today is by Bath & Body Works Apple and Cedarwood. And then to go with that, oh God, it smells so good. With that, I'm going to be using my Perfectly Posh On the Bright Cider Lotion. For toner today, I'm using my Dermasol Labs Oat Milk Toner. And this is the toner that I'm using. I have been using for the past couple of weeks. The rules for this little project pan, I think I'm going to call it Pan That Pokemon. I think that would be a cute name. And I currently have everything in this little basket here. And everything here is my 10 products to use up in 2026 basket. And then also have my other makeup. Now the rules for this is basically you can mix and match new or old products in your collection. But most of it has to be your older products. For example, if I need a pink, I would have to use this pink here. I can't use a random pink shade in a palette unless that is part of my project pan. So let me go ahead and collect my items. So this is the color palette that I have going on. And honestly, this shade here, it is kind of more on the neutral side. But I don't really have as bright of a shade. So this shade here is kind of more on the neutral side. It's a little bit darker than that beige in the photo, but I need to use this shade up. So for my moisturizer today, I'm going to be wearing my Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Cream. I swear I can't speak today. I'm so glad I'm doing a project pan right now because yesterday I was cleaning out my guest bathroom where I keep all my beauty products, and I have so many things that are open, like it's not even funny. Like my bathroom is so cluttered that it's like ridiculous. So I'm just excited to cut down on all my clutter. I'm looking forward to doing more project pan videos. So I already have on my eye primer, and right now I'm just using my Amuse eyeshadow primer. I'm going to be starting off with the base, so I'm going to be using my Revlon Khaki Suede Cream Eyeshadow. And I'm just going to be taking my lighter shade and just use that as a base. I'm going to take my Cargo Cosmetics The Essentials Eye Palette, and I'm going to be taking this shade in Urban and apply that to the crease. It is a really nice base shade. It's like perfect for my skin tone. I'm just going to bring that up a little bit. And then we're going to be taking my Almay Single Shadow, and this is in the shade 145 Petal. And this is just basically a shimmery baby pink. And I'm just going to apply that to the crease. And this shade is a little bit harder to get the product on the actual brush. So we're just going to have to build up that color. And I'm actually going to be taking that same baby pink shade and kind of run it under the eyes. So that actually kind of makes my eyes look a little bit funny. It looks like I'm like have the flu or something. Next, I'm going to be taking my older Revlon Bird of Paradise palette. And I'm going to be using this dark blue shade in Macaw. And I'm going to be applying that to my inner corner. And actually, I went a little bit over on this side, so I'm just going to repeat that on this eye. That way it's even. And then next, we're going to be taking that hot pink shade in Vacay. And the reason why I'm using this palette here is only because the items in my project pan don't have the colors that match the image. So I'm going to let myself use like a different palette. So I'm just going to basically apply that to the outer corner. And then a little bit in the crease. This is kind of transitioning into a little bit of a purple color on the outer corner. And I really love that. So I'm just going to go back in with that pink and apply more on the top. And then I'm going to blend on the top of the outer corner. Wow, I love that blend I have going on here. I feel like I'm loving this pink shade ever since I started using it again. It adds such a beautiful like transition color. Like if I was wearing it with a pink look, like I don't know, it's just like it's just really pretty, and it has like subtle shimmer to it. I don't know if my camera's picking it up, but it just looks really pretty. And I did want to incorporate more blue later on, but for now I feel like this looks pretty good. So for my primer, I'm going to be using the AOA Studio Color Correcting Primer. And I'm going to be applying my e.l.f. Stay Cool Primer Stick and just apply that to the cheeks. And then next, I'm going to be taking my concealer know, why did I put concealer on before putting on my foundation first? I swear, I'm like all over the place today. Kind of applied a little bit too much on my nose, but I'm gonna fix that in a second. Going to fix that by applying more foundation. I need to remind myself not to use so much of that e.l.f. bronzer. For this look, I'm just going to be wearing a powder blush. So we're just going to apply the powder foundation. Yeah, so I look super dewy today. So this look is actually a little bit more dewier than I expected, but it's kind of funny because the character is playing in the water, so it kind of matches this. So to incorporate more of that blue color, I am going to be taking this shade in Take Flight. And I'm just going to basically apply that to the inner corner. Just to add a little bit more pop of color. And then we're going to be taking that blue shade again and just apply a little bit more. And then because this is a water themed look, I'm going to take my AOA highlighter and I'm going to be taking this lightest shade here and apply that directly to the blue just to kind of give it a good shimmer. And then this product here is not in my current project pan, but I'm going to be using a very little bit of this and just kind of apply that on top of the blue. Because this is a mermaid like aesthetic, I feel like it would really bring out that blue color. I feel like this highlighter is like the perfect eyeshadow topper. You can even wear this alone if you wanted, because it's so pretty. This whole look is kind of giving me like mermaid vibes. And I love it. So then I'm going to be taking my lightest blue eyeliner and apply that. And this eyeliner is by LA Girl. And I'm going to be listing that down below. And then for my mascara, I'm going to be taking my LA Colors Blue Mascara. And I'm going to be applying that on the top. And you know what? Because I want to add more blue to the bottom of the waterline, I'm going to be taking my Cara Beauty Blue Palette and I'm going to be taking this shade in Ocean Child and apply that under the eye. I'm going to be taking my Wet n Wild setting powder, and this is from the SpongeBob collection. I chose this because it is like ocean themed. And then for the cheeks, we're going to be taking my Lancome blush shade. And this is a Plum. And it's just a basic blush shade. And we're going to take that same highlighter palette and we're going to swirl that around and apply that everywhere. And I don't really have a blue lipstick, and I feel like if I wore pink, it would be too much pink. So I'm just going to go with a clear gloss. And this actually does have a little bit of blue. Actually, it looks purple on the screen. But it does have a little bit of blue flecks to this. So we're just going to use that as a color today. It smells so good outside. So the weather is getting cooler finally in Arizona. And my neighbor is, or someone is having like a bonfire. So that is the completed look. Let me know how I did. So I really love how it turned out. I love how I incorporated the pinks to the outer corner, and it kind of gave off like subtle purple color. I really like this. I feel like this is such a good, this would actually make this a really interesting spring or summer themed eye look, just because of how bright and colorful it is. But yeah, so I actually had so much fun doing this, and let me know how I did with this eye look. And I'm definitely going to be looking forward to this series. We have so many looks that we're going to be creating with this little series, and it would be so cool if you guys can join along. If you have Pokemon cards, you can even do the same cards that I choose, and you can just like screenshot it or something. But yeah, this is like really fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, definitely, like, if you want to follow along, you are welcome to. You can expect to see 1 to 2 videos per week with this Pokemon series. If you do end up doing this series along with me, make sure to tag my YouTube name, The Beauty Bug. I'd love to see like what kind of looks you guys can come up with. Thank you so much for watching today's video. And remember to always be kind to people, pay it forward, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. So when I was reviewing the footage, I could see like the reflection of my gray hair strands. Like, look at that. They're like super reflective. Oh my god. Actually, this is like white, like pure white. I'm gonna have to go and pluck these.